Hello everybody, Cooper here, and welcome back to another episode of Youth to Gold here on Cricket Captain 2024. Hope you're all doing very well today. I have one target in mind for today's episode: get through to the end of the group stage in both the 100 and the Metro Bank One Day Cup. We're going to start today's episode in the 100, and then we're going to work our way through to the end of the group stage in those competitions, as I said. Basically, the 11 in this first game against the Northern Superchargers, I'm just going to keep as the same as it has been for basically the entire campaign so far. Everything's been going very well, and I don't believe we've actually lost a game in the 100 if I just double check. No, we're 4-0 in the 100, and in the One Day Cup, we're currently 2-1, so we're not doing too bad there. But we're going to play this one. It's an away fixture. It's a pace bowling wicket. We've called heads, we've won the toss. I think we're actually going to bat first in this one. And the predictor has us scoring in the 150 range, considering how we've gone with the bat so far this season. If we just toggle through the 11 that we do have, that's not what I want in current competition. Here we go. So Will Jacks is actually having a bit of a stinker so far. Not been a great investment considering we're paying him over $100,000 a season, which is not ideal. But he hasn't been great. Hopefully we can get some runs out of him today. And then Will Smeed hasn't been too bad. Hasn't cracked 50 yet, but is having a very good start to the season average-wise. Josh Buttler also hasn't been great. John Higgins, as always, is incredible. Ajit Hills has been pretty good, has to be said. And then David Gray's only had to bat once. So has Marco Jansen. Zach Fulks has only had to bat once. And I don't even think the bowlers have had to bat. So hopefully we can get some runs on the board, particularly out of Jacks and Buttler, mainly because we'd like them to be in some decent form by the time the group stage exit comes around. I don't know how many times we have done it, but we've cracked 200 in a 100 ball innings. And it's largely thanks to three people: Will Jacks, David Gray, and Marco Jansen, of all people. Cracked 36 off 18. He does have a T20 to his name. I don't know if that's happened in the course of the save file. Looks like it has. I'm curious to see if that was in the IPL, and it was for Sunrisers, I believe. 105 is his highest T20 score. But Smeed, Buttler, again, not too great. Higgins and Hills surprisingly didn't fire. Hills was just 6 and out, basically. But David Gray pinned on the pads by Ben Stokes in the end. 56 off 24, 4 fours and 4 sixes. Very happy with this turn of events. We also have a One Day Cup fixture happening at the same time. I don't actually think I mentioned that off the top. But Smith and Markham, top of the order, really good. Davies was good. Garside gets a half century, his second half century in one day cricket. Flintoff batting at 5 is interesting, but he gets 71 of 49, still averaging 46 at one day level, which is exceptional. But 9 for 323 was really good. And I've just noticed that Sonny Baker, who is not a regen, but 7 for 56 in a one day game is very good. And Jack Leach, 2 for 83, got absolutely smoked around the park. The white flag has well and truly been waved. Northern Superchargers all out for 93. Fulks ends up with 3, Milligan 3, Jansen 2, Bannister and Ahmed 1 apiece. Outstanding win for the Manchester Originals, and Northamptonshire have also beaten Somerset in a very convincing victory. 44-run win, but Harry Armstrong hasn't had a great one-day record up until this point. 5 for 30, career best figures for him. How are the rest of the bowlers going? Flintoff bowled an over. What a guy. 1 over bowled, 10 runs conceded. Joe Denley, I've done it again. Jaden Denley, 1 for 73. Brownlow, 1 for 59, not his best. They were 1 for 128. And then we got the final 9 wickets for about 150 runs. Very interesting result by us. But we get it done. Flintoff, that's his first professional over, and it hasn't gone well. Manchester Originals, 5 of 5 so far. And Northamptonshire hop up into the top 3 once again with a game in hand. Obviously, the net run rate isn't totally superb right now, but we're we're in and around the top 3, which is where we want to be. Martin's still out for 8 days, unfortunately. I'm just going to load up our last one-day team, and I think this is what we're going to go with. Denley can go back to the second 11 along with Foyle. Sykes, even though he did have a good game last time around, got 14 not out and a wicket. We might actually bring him back. Who for is the only thing. We could drop Follett here. That could be something we do, but I'm not really sure. I think I will drop Follett actually. We could open with Markham. That could be interesting. We'll open with Markham and Flintoff. Sykes can bat at 7, Vaughan at 8. We'll go Sykes can be the second bowler. Kelly we'll send back to the second 11. He wasn't very good. But yeah, we're still a little thin on the fast bowlers, so that might be an area of recruitment for the off-season. But Markham's going to open with Flintoff. Smith at 3, Davies 4, Copperfield 5, Garside 6, Sykes at 7, Vaughan, Armstrong, Minto, and Brownlow are going to make up the bowlers. Minto hasn't been great, has to be said. Conditions-wise, we're going to keep it as a fast bowling wicket. I think that's just the best thing for us to do. But yeah, I'm pretty confident we can get a result here today up against Yorkshire. If we have a look at the domestic table, Yorkshire are 1-3 from their 4 games, so haven't been great. Let's get into today's game. We will, if I can actually press the button, there we go. We'll call tails on the toss. We've lost the toss and we've been put into bat on a fast bowling wicket. Hopefully we can get some runs on the board early. Shaheen Shah Afridi is going to open the bowling, but he has been exceptional the last couple of years, especially in T20 cricket. I believe he was the T20 International Player of the Year last year in terms of wickets. It's going to be a good one. It was looking pretty dicey for a moment at the end of the first 20 overs. We were 4 for 140 and then actually ended up being 7 for 187. Wasn't looking great, but Copperfield just showed a bit of grit in those middle overs, gets to 74 off 103. He's now hitting 55 in one-day cricket, which is awesome. James Minto, another little performance with the bat in limited overs cricket. Just 23 not out, gets the job done at the back end of the innings. Apart from those 2 guys, Flintoff was really the only one that had an innings of substance. He finishes with 67. It's another half century. We get 270 on the board, which is something, but on this deck, against this particular team, it's a very, very good team, which admittedly is a bowling heavy team. I don't actually know if this is going to be enough to get the win. The predictor has them scoring 263 over 200 matches simulated, so, you know, consider that how you will. But I am a little bit concerned that we've left a few runs on the board. It's another victory, and it's actually come from an unlikely source. Minto, he's back in the wickets, 3 for 34 after none for 108 combined in his last 2 one-day games. It's career best figures in one-day cricket. Ollie Sykes also picked up a 3 for 22, was really good. Not quite career best for him. But Brownlow struggled a little bit, only got 1 for 42, and they say struggled lightly compared to, you know, his career output. Armstrong 3 for 46 again was very good, and Vaughan didn't pick up any wickets, unfortunately. Got 3 games to go in the 100 in the group stage, and the Trent Rockets away is our next contest. If we have a look at the conditions, we'll see it's actually pretty spin friendly. So do we bring in another spinner? I've also just off screen decided to drop Jos Buttler. Mr. Higgins is going to be captain for us in this game, or for at least when Buttler is out. But in terms of bringing in another spinner, the only real spinner we have to bring in is Tom Hartley, and he is in horrific form. So I'm going to opt against that for now. I've brought in Paul Walter for Jos Buttler. I toed and froed with Jamie Smith, but I decided a bit of extra bowling doesn't hurt, and Walter's a bit more of a hitter, so he's going to bat at 6. Gray's going to bat at 5. Ajit Hills is going to move up to 3. And in terms of spin bowling, we do have Will Jacks at the top of the order. So hopefully that doesn't compromise us too much. We're going to call heads on the toss. We've won the toss. I think this is a bat first. Another decent total, 3 for 167. Will Jacks, 84 of 48, was exceptional. 2 half centuries in a row for him. He has been starting to warm up in the back end of these competitions. Smeed, Hills and Higgins all got off to decent starts but just couldn't hang around. And David Gray hit a 4 off the final ball of the innings. Okay, awkward story. I stopped recording to go to a doctor's appointment. I'm obviously now back and I forgot to press recording again when I played the other innings in the 100, and unfortunately I did not record any of that, obviously. So I started recording again in our next One Day Cup fixture, which was just immediately after. I'll go back, have a look at the result of the last 100 fixture. Anyway, long story short, we've won the toss in this One Day Cup fixture against Kent. We're batting first, and we got 5 for 325 on a spinning deck, which was lovely. Markham, opening up the batting, got 64, which is his highest one-day score of the season. Flintoff, unfortunately, couldn't get past 20. Smith was outstanding, 146 in his first one-day 100 of the season for us, which was lovely. And then Ollie Davies didn't really do that great. Tim Copperfield, pretty good, 38 off 52, a little slow for my liking, but was really good. And then Garside, just towards the back end of the innings, swung for the fences and got run out on the final ball of the innings, which was a little annoying. But we now have to defend basically 6.5 and over, which I feel is very doable. Spinning wicket, as I said, Vaughan, Armstrong and Brownlow are in the 11 to basically cater that wicket to them. We've got a few other options outside of our main 5. Flintoff bowled. I did not want to change him to be an opening bowler, but he did bowl a little bit earlier in, I think it might have been the last episode or the start of this episode. I don't remember. Smith's obviously an option. Tim Copperfield is untried, but could do a job. And George Garside bowls a bit of right arm fast medium. So that could also be a thing we do. But I'm going to try and hopefully just stick with our main 5 and then go from there. Another comprehensive victory. Flintoff getting a couple of wickets towards the back end of the innings. I really didn't like what I saw from Minto and Sykes, so he turned to Flintoff in sort of the back 10 overs just to roll the arm over, and he took 2 for 18. A little expensive, but he got the job done. Apart from his wickets, Minto got 1. The spinners got 7 between them. Vaughan and Armstrong 3 apiece. Brownlow gets 1. Pretty competitive game by us. Very happy with the outcome. Steve Smith gets player of the game for his 146. No real surprise there, but just what a phenomenal player he is. He's 37 years of age. Ideally, I'd like to keep him on again for next season if he's going to be around enough. And as promised, we are going to have a quick look at the scorecard from our last game in the 100. We got the 3 for 167, which I believe you were aware of. And then the Trent Rockets got bowled out for 155. Will Jacks getting player of the game for his, I think he got 84 in the first dig. And then 3 for 15 towards the back end with the ball was very good. But we now have the Northern Superchargers at home. We've got 2 games to go in the group, still unbeaten, and we are doing very nicely. We may need to change the wicket because we've got a lot of fast bowlers and it's currently a spinning deck. So we're going to go back to that seamers wicket. Heads on the toss is the call. We win the toss. It is going to be pacey, so I think this might be a bowl first, which I don't necessarily mind, even though, I mean, the innings is only 100 balls, so the pitch isn't going to do a great deal. But obviously, you just want to err on the side of caution. The predictor has them scoring about 150. We are favoured to win. 8 for 149, basically right on the money with what they predicted they would score. Will Jacks again just chipping in with wickets. This season for us, he has been absolutely exceptional with the ball. He's currently got a bowling average of 3.83 with 6 wickets to his name, only conceding 23 runs. We only gave Milligan the 3 lots of 5 balls, and he wasn't that great. Bannister was a little expensive again. Jansen wasn't too bad. Fulks and Ahmed were great, but Will Jacks in that second to last over was awesome. Nicholas Pooran and Harry Brook led the way. Ben Stokes finished as the not-out man. Pretty comfy run chase in the end in this one, largely thanks to Will Jacks and Will Smeed just teeing off at the start of the innings. Smeed was the first man to go, but Will Jacks, he's had a couple of games in a row where he has just been awesome for us. Smeed was good, Hills was not too bad, Higgins didn't actually have to face the ball in the end. But we get the win. Hampshire, unfortunately, beat Northamptonshire. Not good. I mean, not ideal, obviously. Gubbins gets 100. No real bowlers, really. Jaden Denley picks up 2 for... How's he gone this season? 3 wickets at 47. He's not been good with the bat either. Much better in the T20s, has to be said. Brownlow wasn't too bad. Armstrong was a bit expensive. Be a disappointing result. I need to have a look at basically the table to see how this is going to affect things. At this point in time, with 1 game to play, Northamptonshire are sitting in the 3 spot in Group B of the One Day Cup table. We would have to really lose by a lot to drop down to 4 in the next game. Hopefully we can take control of it so I can actually select my guys, but the 100 home final has essentially been locked up for us. We've won every game so far pretty convincingly. It would have to take a disaster for it not to repeat as champions. Markham has improved his wicket keeping, which is great, but we have to play Middlesex away in the final game of the 100 group stage to secure a home final. We're going to fix up our lineup. Denley, I mean, I'm just going to keep him in the seconds for now. How's Follett been going? I know we haven't really checked in on him. He's been a mixed bag, has to be said. But what's the one day second 11 average? He's currently averaging 55. Current year 39 for his career, which isn't great, but it is something. Is there any possibility of someone we could bring in? I really don't want to bring in Foyle because I like the other guys we have. Kelly, I'm going to say no. Martin's only a day away, which is annoying, but we'll make do with what we have. We could bring in Lucas as a fast bowling option, but I feel like he actually hasn't been all that good either. He's just been taking 1 or 2 wickets a game, which isn't terrible. Sykes, I think I might just keep it as is. There's no real reason for me to change anything. Conditions are, oh, it's actually going to be a bit cloudy, but a pace-friendly wicket. So we might, do we drop a spinner? Is that something we do? I might drop Archie Vaughan just in favour of Lucas. We'll just get Vaughan to rest because I don't want him to get injured because we don't really need another one of those. We'll head on the toss. We've won the toss. I think I'm going to bowl first once again. And hopefully the weather doesn't affect us too much. First innings, it's going to be pretty cloudy and overcast. So probably a wise decision to bowl. But their batting predicted innings is 313. And they've got a good chance of winning. So hopefully we can just get them under 300 and then chase as much as we can, basically. 7 for 245. We had them in a much better position for us than we probably could have expected. They were, what were they, 5 for 175. Then Sykes and Minto bowled the last couple of overs, which were a little expensive. They ended up at 245, thanks to Robson and Yao. Glenn Yao, is that how you would say that name? Looks like he's new this season, had a very good one-day campaign. Jack Davies as well chipped in with a very quick 22. But Minto 3 for 37 was great. Lucas on debut, we didn't really speak about it that much, but he was none for 54. Just did his job, was economical. Brownlow and Armstrong were pretty good as spinners, and Sykes, again, his bowling 10 overs really isn't his game, but he did okay. He wasn't terrible, but now we got to chase basically 250 with our season on the line. Hopefully we can get it done. I mean, Forrester, he was awesome last season. I think he might have been a Team of the Year guy last season. Nasanka's been incredible this season as well. Hasn't been good in tests or in internationals actually, but he's averaging 79 in first class cricket. Markham and Flintoff, we really need you guys to step up, get the innings off to a fast start. Hopefully that can happen for us. We hang on and we chase down 249. We Only win by 3 wickets in the end. It was not looking good. We were 3 for 53. Flintoff, highest scorer of the innings with 62 off 83, really had to hang around. Tim Copperfield did a really good job of hanging around as well. 35 off 59. Did a really, really good job. But once the wickets fell, Garside, 54 of 28, just a real hitter. Has a one-day strike rate of 116. Was really, really good. Ollie Sykes as well. I said that bowling 10 overs wasn't his game, but he's a very aggressive batsman, and just coming in and occasionally teeing off, that's sort of his recipe for success. Armstrong got a first ball duck. Minto came in on a hat trick, but hung around and survived. We get the win, and we are through to the knockout stage with a little bit of a squeaky bum time win. And even better, we actually go straight through to the semi-final. There's still a few games to play. Actually, no, there's not. We just have to wait on the first round of the finals. We actually end up finishing in first spot, which is amazing. 6 wins, 2 losses. 2 losses, if I can say it correctly. Nottinghamshire finished top of Group A with 5 wins, 2 losses, and a tie. Somehow we actually finished with the best record, which doesn't feel correct. But we've got one more game to play today. It's the final game of the 100 group stage. And I think regardless of how this goes, we're actually playing the Southern Brave. We will be playing at home in a home final, which would be lovely. I don't know why I changed the wicket. There was no reason for me to do that. But it's a Pacers wicket. I think we will bat first if we can. But obviously see how we go, because we've got a very pace-friendly lineup. JT Langridge is still here. He took 6 for 30 in, I believe that's a T20 game, or we'll just have a quick look. No, it might have been in a first-class game, but he is actually having a very good season in the second 11. But we have yet to play him in the 3 seasons, or maybe the 2 seasons that we've had him on the Manchester Originals, so he will probably be one we let go next, or in the off season I should say. But hopefully we can go through this entire season in the 100 undefeated. We've lost the toss, but we will be batting first, so we do get what we want. Not our best batting performance, but it is still a decent result. I mean, 7 for 156 over 100 balls is not terrible. David Gray, 22 not out. Pretty good way to finish his episode. Hill's got a half century. Higgins batted a little slower than I typically would like from him, but wasn't terrible. Jackson Smead didn't do a great deal. Walter got a 2-ball duck. Jansen was 12 off 6, which was pretty good. And Bannister hit 3 fours in the final 4 balls, which was really handy to get us over 150. The pitch, it's still fairly seamy, so we're going to try and take these wickets, try and bowl them out. They've got a very strong batting lineup. If we have a quick scout, they've got Tim Walker, who we know, Quinton de Kock, who is unfortunately retired from Test cricket. I always enjoyed watching him. Omar bin Yusuf, he isn't too bad, but he's 27. Lewis Deploy, who's awesome. Phil Salt, Alex Davies, James Sales. Then we get into the bowlers, who are great. We're actually facing Beasley, who I honestly didn't even take notice of when we were batting. I need to go over here. How's he gone this season? He's been pretty good. He took 1 for 31 today. But we need to bowl them out now. Wasn't pretty, but we get it done. 9 for 131 was the final total for the Southern Brave. Their biggest partnership was actually the 9th wicket, funnily enough, for 31 runs. We were pretty good bowling-wise. No real heroes, has to be said. Jansen was great. Milligan was awesome. I think all of Milligan's wickets came in 1 over, which was quite funny. But we get the job done. Hills is the player of the game. And that is going to do it for today. The London Spirit and the Birmingham Phoenix still need to play, so we'll see how that goes. But that, as I said, is going to do it for today. Our next game, it appears, will be the One Day Cup final. I'm going to leave it to see who it's going to be for next time. Thank you so much for everyone that watched today's video. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And until then, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys then. Bye!